It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the Mental Curling Club. I hope you will enjoy the introductory program we have prepared for you. I will start with a brief introduction to the game itself in the equipment so that you will be able to enjoy it when you watch it later on. I will then go on to say a little about the history of the sport and the club. So first, let's take a look at game of curling and the implements. It's laid on ice and the object of the game is for two teams. It push every stone across the ice towards a target. Now there are four people in each of the two teams. The first is called the lead, the next is called the second, the next surprise is called the third, and the final player who is absolutely key function as the captain, but it always called the skip. That's SKIP. The area of play on the ice, whether it be on a ring or on a frozen lake or a stream, is called the sieve. This long, thin area is 42-15 meters by only 425 meters. And unlike ice hockey ice, for example, is constantly grown by frequent saving to keep it perfectly level. At either ends of these are the two zones for targets. X1 is known as a house. A little bit about the equipment we need. The stones are made from granite. Originally, they were held by your finger in hole, specially carved out in the top, but then it was decided to add a handle to get a better grip. The other distinctive implement is the brush apron. This is used for two purposes: to clean the eye, of course, but more crucially to warm it. This melts the eye slightly and lessens the friction so you get a smoother slide. Curling is not an expensive sport. You don't buy your own stone. In fact, it is legal to play in a match with your own stone, but you can use your own brush. There are two main types, Scottish and Canadian. The former are normally made out of horsehair, and the latter, which are now more frequently used, are made of synthetic materials, and they don't leave as many threads on the eye. Now, apart from stone and brush, the only other piece of equipment you would need as a beginner is a rubber toe. So on one of your shoes, depending on which shoe you read from. The captain will often carry a stopwatch to watch when the eye needs to be changed. All equipment and clothing can be posted in the club shop. A quick word about Metro Curling Club. It renews not only because it often wins championships, but because it was the first club for any sport in the whole of the North American continent. And although curling is not as well known as many other winter sports, we still hold a certain amount of influence in the national sport cuisine. And what are the origin of the name? It now well established as it started in Scotland in as early as the 16th century. Queen Victoria, on her frequent trip to Scotland, often played but wrote in her diary that it required exceptional strength to throw the stone. Her passionate attracted a great deal of interest in game, especially among younger players, and this was enhanced further when she granted a royal title to the curling club, which had been set up the early 19th century to create standard rules for the game. Curling has always had support in high place. In the 16th century, the Scottish Parliament actually banned golf and football as violent and unprofitable sports. They feel that local men should spend any free time practicing archery for self-defense against their enemies. But the less popular game of curling was included in Japan. The art of throwing stone was thought to be just as useful as shooting a row. But back to Korea. Here the game has flourished since the beginning of the 19th century when Scottish soldiers reported they enjoyed playing it on the foreign lakes and rivers. Because of the difficulty in importing granite stone from Scotland, cast iron was used instead of sand from melted down cannonball, which had originally been brought over from Europe. Now Korea is regarded as the most successful curling nation in the world. Now the game you are going to see.